So students, we were discussing grade 9 political science chapter, that is constitutional design. So till now we have seen, we have defined constitution, then we have seen the policy of apartheid, the official policy that was practiced in South Africa by the government of South Africa, the ill treatment of blacks. Then we have seen about the Nelson Mandela, what kind of freedom struggle he led in order to remove the apartheid, the ill treatment of the blacks. So, what kind of struggle he has done, 28 years of imprisonment he faced because of raising the voice against the apartheid. Then, after that, we have seen how this apartheid system was oppressive, particularly for blacks, and then we have seen towards the constitution that how they have enacted their constitution when Nelson Mandela he walked as a free man out of the prison. Then he became the first black South African president, and they enacted their constitution. So we have seen the changes also which came after the constitution of South Africa was enacted. What kind of changes came? This also we have seen equality came, then the multiracial government was formed, and apartheid was abolished. It came to an end. Equality between different races, men and women. So all this we have equality of rights, extensive rights were given. So all these changes we have seen. Now we have to see the South African constitution inspires Democrats all over the world. What is the meaning of Democrats here? The true supporters of democracy. That is, who believe in all the ideals of the democracy and the supporters of democracy in true sense. That is, the supporters of universal adult franchise for everyone. So now let's see the South African constitution inspired Democrats all over the world. How this constitution became the inspirational model for the entire world, especially for the followers of democracy. So detailed discussion happened for 2 years. Okay, for 2 years the detailed discussion and debate happened on close by close on every point, and then came the finest constitution of the world. So, after detailed discussion and debate, so they gave to the world the finest constitution of the world. Then, in this constitution, the extensive rights were given to all the people, irrespective of their race, blacks, white, other colored races, all were given the extensive rights. So, when we say the democracy, and in democracy the extensive rights are given to the people. So here we are talking about what are the democratic features of the South African constitution. So extensive rights were given to its citizens. Then after that, together they decide that no one should be excluded. It means everyone should be included in the framing of constitution. So in democracy we know everyone, the popular participation is there of all the people. So participation of all the people will be there and nobody will be denied access here. Everyone should be included in the process to find the solution in enacting or drafting their constitution. And no one should be treated as a demon, means no one should be treated as a devil. Now, all the blacks and whites, the oppressor and the oppressed community, they will sit together to enact or draft the constitution. Everyone should become a part of the solution. So all the races, or blacks, white, and other races, the multicultural diversity which South Africa was having. So now all should become the part of the solution. No one should be excluded now. Everyone should participate in the process of constitution making. After this now, so after discussing these points, so the state which was criticized, denounced once as the most undemocratic country, now they transformed themselves into the model of democracy. How? By giving extensive rights to their citizens, by adopting the finest constitution, by including everyone, by not doing discrimination, by not discriminating with any of the section of the society. So the liberal approach which they have shown towards the democracy, so it became a model of democracy for the entire world. Now how this change came in South Africa? So it is because of the determination of the people. This change was possible because of the determination of the people to forget their bad experience and now transform their country into a better democracy. So now they have forgot their past. bitter experience. Now they have forged and they have transformed themselves into a model of democracy and the binding glue of the rainbow nation. So this is the post-apartheid term which was used to describe South Africa, that now the multicultural diversity is there in the nation. And so these all were the features of the South African constitution which inspired Democrats all over the world. So now we have to discuss why do we need a constitution. So the South African example which we have discussed, the case of South African, it clearly describes, it helps us in giving the detail that why do we need a constitution and what does a constitution do. So we have seen in the case of South Africa that the oppressor and the oppressed community, now both together they will sit for enacting, drafting their constitution. So this was not easy task, that both the oppressed and the oppressor both they are sitting together, they are doing negotiations, and they will be building a trust. So this was not a easy task, means it will be very difficult for the oppressed community to trust their oppressor. So now this rarest thing we have seen in the case of South Africa. Now after this the negotiations started. Now fears were there in the mind of the white community that the blacks, the majority community, now they will start discrimination against them, and they will start suppressing them. They will take away their privileges, and they will also take away their properties. So this fear was there in the mind of the white community. And similarly now the black community, they also wanted that the rule of majority, the democratic principle of the majority rule, that should not be compromised. So after long negotiations, both communities, they reached to uh, they reached to a compromise. The whites, they said, okay, we will give a universal franchise to everyone and some rights to the poor people also, and to the workers also. And the blacks, they also said, they also compromised that we will also we will also not exercise unlimited powers against the white minority. We will also not exercise absolute powers, unlimited powers against the white minority, and we will also not take away their privileges and their property. So this compromise was reached, but this kind of compromise was not easy, and verbally it cannot be done. So now you have to pen down certain rules and regulations, okay, in the form of constitution. So then only verbally the things will not work out. Everything has to be in written form. So the all the rules and regulations has to be written, that how the government will be formed, who will be having which kind of powers. So in the constitution of South Africa, everything will be specified. Now who will form the government, okay, what the this document, all the rules have to be obeyed by all the citizens. So now everything will be written, the basic set of rules will be written in the constitution. And the constitution making is not unique to South Africa only. All the countries, whether democratic and non-democratic, you have seen that after the French Revolution also, means all the countries, they go for drafting of their constitution once they declare their independence. Then after this we have seen that certain organizations are there, the cooperatives, the association, the clubs, societies, then political parties, they also should have their constitution, because it brings discipline in their organization. Registration of their members should be done, all the do's and don'ts should be written on the constitution. So talking about the need of the constitution, so it is important and supreme law of the land. No one is above the constitution. It is a supreme document, the supreme law of the land. Whether the prime minister is there, or president is there, or the poor person is there, all are equal in the eyes of the constitution. So supreme law of the land, everyone has to abide by the constitution. It is not that once the government has been formed, they are in the majority, they can rule by their own will. No, they have to rule by the provisions of the constitution. So no one is above the constitution. So this thing is very much important, that you have to abide by the rules of the constitution. Then it determines the relationship of the citizen with the government. Okay, so government also, you have seen the everything, all the powers of the government are specified in the constitution. So it is not that once you have formed the government that then you will exercise unlimited power and you will encroach the rights of your citizens. No. So the judiciary is there to see that the government should not exercise unlimited power, and violation of basic human rights and fundamental rights are also not done by the government. So it determines the relationship of the citizens with the government. Then it lays down the principles, the guidelines which are required for the people belonging to different ethnic and religious groups to live in harmony. So if power sharing is done between the different groups, diverse groups which are living in a democratic country, so if the power sharing is properly done with the marginalized section, if share of power is given to them also, then obviously the other groups, they will also live in harmony. So where it will be mentioned that the power sharing will be done with the marginalized and with the minorities also in the constitution. All guidelines are given, like in our case, the Dalits and all, they are provided the reserved constituency. The power sharing is done for a marginalized section also, so that they should not feel alienated. Then after that, so the constitution of a country is a set of written rules. So everything is written in the constitution that are accepted by all the people. So it has to be accepted by all the people who are living together in a country. So this is, we have discussed why do we need a constitution. So now we have to discuss what does constitution do, or what is the importance of the constitution. So in this, with the bold headings, you can mention these points. The first point is trust and coordination. So what does constitution do, or what is the importance of the constitution? First point is trust and coordination. So it generates a degree of trust and coordination that is necessary to be generated for different kind of people to live together. So like we have seen in the case of South Africa also, we have seen that they were doing the negotiations and then they reached to the compromise. Means it was very difficult in the earlier phases. Then when they started talking, it was very difficult for the oppressor and the oppressed people, the community, to come together and have a talk. But still, after long negotiations, they reached to a compromise that the white government, the earlier white government, the white community, they will provide them universal franchise and some rights to the poor and to the workers also. And after that, the blacks, they also compromise that we will not exercise unlimited power against the white minority, and we will also protect their property and other privileges also. So when these kind of compromises were reached, so it is important to write them somewhere in the form of certain rules and regulations, so that the trust is developed, the trust is generated. When it is written down, the assurance is given, then the black community and the white community, they feel satisfied. So the trust is generated and the coordination is generated through constitution. So what constitution do? It generates the degree of trust and coordination between the different kind of people who are living together in a country. So for generating this trust, everything, the powers are divided, everything is written in the constitution. So in this way, the trust is generated among the people. Then next is specifications. The next point is specification. Now everything is specified in the constitution that how the government will be constituted, how the government will be formed. The political party who will have the majority in the parliament, they will be forming the government. Then the president will ask the prime minister about the list of the council of minister, cabinet minister. Then the prime minister, he will select his council of minister. Then after that, opposition will be there. So everything is mentioned that how the government will be constituted, what will be the powers of the cabinet minister, council of minister, prime minister, president. So everything is mentioned how the government will be constituted, who will have power to take which kind of decisions. Everything is mentioned in the constitution, the powers of the different levels. If the federal structure is there, how the powers will be divided between the different levels of the government. Different lists are there, legislation powers are given to them, so that everything is specified, so that there should not be any conflict in the future between the different levels of the government. So everything is specified to avoid the conflict. Then after that, rights and duties. So here we have said that powers are given. All the powers are allocated to different levels of the government. So now through constitution, these the central government and the state government, they will derive their authority from the constitution. So constitution provides them power. Now we have to safeguard our citizens from government also, so that they should not exercise the unlimited powers against the citizens only, and they should not start violating the rights of the citizens once they have assumed the power after forming the government. So rights and duties are mentioned in the constitution of our citizens, and it also lays down the limits on the powers of the government, so that government should not exercise unlimited powers. They should not violate the human basic fundamental rights of the citizens after they have assumed the power. So this is also, everything is specified in the constitution, and it lays down the limits also on the powers of the government, so that they should not exercise the unlimited powers against their citizens only. Then good society, the last importance of the constitution, or what does constitution do? Good society. So it expresses the aspiration. Aspiration means the desires. It expresses the aspiration of the people about creating a good society. So it expresses the aspiration, the desires of the people about creating a good society, that what kind of society will be there. The liberal minded people will be there. Like in the case of the European countries, we have seen the liberal ideology people are there. So where that ideology will be reflected in their constitution. So that ideology will be reflected in their constitution. So more liberal rights will be given to the people who are living in the European countries, where the more liberal ideology mindset is there of the people. So it expresses the aspiration, the desire of the people about creating a good society. So this can be done, the laws, whatever aspirations are there of the people, according to that the fundamental provisions of the constitution can be kept, and the good society can be created by this.